Alright guys, welcome back. This is Monday at 6:36 p.m. I remember yesterday saying that I was gonna do a afternoon stream. Um that didn't end up happening. Or I actually couldn't give you a reason why. I don't know what I was doing. Oh, but yeah. Um I think I studied a little bit, but yeah, we're back. This is a Monday. I didn't um have college today, so I've just been at home studying, but yeah. I remember what was I gonna say? Never mind. Um yeah. Anyway, next stream starts by going over notes, so that's what we're gonna do first because like we've made a fair bit of notes that we probably need refreshing on, just looking over. But um take a read if you wish or not, just skip forward a little bit, but yeah. Um, Hold up. Mm, mm, mm. I might be really quiet for you at the moment, but that's because I have quite a bit of background noise. Um, yeah. Um, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. About my little tech box thing here. Um, I'm not trying to sound like a bitch, but I have not ran 10k or done 100 press ups today. Or it will get done. Okay. I swear it will get done. Like I will in the next set a deadline. In 7 days' time, both these things will be done. We finished 1.2. Uh, we we didn't get an afternoon session in, but we did do a morning one. So, uh, but I've made like a Discord server. However, at this point in time, it's not it's not necessarily like business related. Like literally at the end of last video, we looked at the only four things that matter in your consulting business: foundations and mindset, sales appointments, closing sales, and delivering value. Like, I feel like the cooking up in the Discord is maybe can be done in free time slash like just like for fun, because it's not necessarily something that pushes the business forward or anything. But I did study, and I'm going over notes right now. But we'll keep this there, just so we like remember to go back on it. But yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't say it has to be done immediately, because I literally don't have a. I can build a community, but no one's in it, so I have no one to talk to. But yeah, this is where we left off from the 9th. It's the 10th today. So hold on, let me just. We're on. I'm pretty sure we're on 1.3 now. Back in action.
But at least right now, I need to go take a shit, so I'll be right back. You know, basically, for me, when it...
Okay. .3. Here we go. Did I? Oh. Day 8, I believe. This is. Correct me if I'm wrong, but. Okie dokie. Let's get it. I wanna save. I'll finish 1.3 today, but I probably won't. It's a 3-hour long video. It's like 6:45 now. 7:45, 8:45. We'll go for a good 2 hours, okay? See how much we get through.
Hey everyone, Charlie Morgan here, and welcome to Six Figure Fusion. In this video, we're going to discuss the fundamentals and the foundations of a consulting business and what you need to have in place to become successful. Then we're going to continue to explore some more axioms, first principles, and fundamentals to help you better organize your thinking so you can make better decisions and take better actions as you go through this training. I need you to see these foundational videos in the same way that you would approach a sport. So let's say that you wanted to learn tennis, okay? Now, if you were trying to get into tennis and the first thing you did, before even really doing anything, like you go down to your local tennis shop and let's say you buy a racket that's $10,000. You buy this tool, the best tennis racket you can find. It's, you know, now like just having that racket doesn't make you good at tennis. And the same thing is true with this program. The racket represents the shiny objects, such as the sales script, or the outreach strategies to get clients, or the strategies to become an expert, or maybe it's the financial strategies later on, like, you know, to learn how to manage the cash flow you make, and maybe it's the content strategy. Like, I'm going to give you the best tactics and strategies in the world to get clients, become an expert, manage the business, and get to 6 figures. That's going to happen. But those things, they are like the expensive tennis racket. In order for you to even know how to use a tennis racket, you need to understand the rules of the game. So these foundational videos, whilst they are long and arduous and, like, you know, sometimes maybe you're not that stimulated by them, they are very, very, very important. Okay, so please make sure that you've watched elucidatory axioms before this video. And please do not skip any of the foundational videos either in this week or the next week in the mindset module as well. I know it's a process. I know you're used to, Mr. Beast style editing and 15-second short form clips with Minecraft parkour put in the bottom. And I know asking some of you to watch the 3-hour video once a day I know it sucks, but if you can't watch the 2 or 3 hour video, how the hell are you going to build a business? Because trust me, it's way harder than this. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we're going to discuss the consulting foundations, consulting hypothesis, the consulting equation, knowledge, memory, and time, exponential distribution, feedback loops, second order consequences, consequence maps, feeder actions, and then stickability and consistency. Once again, please do not put this video on a 2x speed.
Hold up.
Please do not have any tabs open. Take your phone off your desk.
Yeah, my phone's about to go. Hold up. Let me... Hold on. Just in case there is any background noise, I'll probably just mute until I actually want to say something, then I will go off mute. Oh dear. Alright, here we go. Let's go. Holy shit, I nearly missed my bed. Okay. Phone is not on the desk. I have Google Docs open on the other screen. Let's go. But I'm a mute until I have to say anything. Just because I don't want you guys to hear that background noise. But
trust me, like if you get this stuff right, like sometimes literally all you have to do is get this stuff right. So please take it seriously. Please take my word for it. I really want the best for you. And I know that some of you might be looking at this agenda and being like, I don't care about second order consequences. Just give me the scripts. And, those are the people, if you give in to that narrative, you're not going to become successful. So without further ado, let's get into it. So welcome to Six Figure Fusion. Here we discover, here we will discover and define the core pieces of a successful consulting business, and we will boil your entire success with this program down to a simple equation. We're also going to continue to build on more important fundamentals to set your mind straight, and like I said, please ensure that you've watched the previous videos before starting this one. So here we've got consulting foundations. So it's very, 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 very important that you get your foundations right. So just like anything, if you're building a house and you try and build that house on sand or on mud or on a cliff with poor foundations, it's going to fall down. So what are the foundations of a consulting business? What are these core pieces of Lego, so to speak, that we build everything on top of? Because that's really what a foundation is. It's a core building block that in every single thing that you build, you add into your business, is built on these foundations. And so this kind of comes back to what I was saying a minute ago. If you mess up the foundations, it doesn't matter how good your sales script is, because a great sales script on top of terrible foundations will be outperformed by a terrible sales script built on incredible foundations. The foundations are where most of your leverage is. So the first foundation of a consulting business is a niche. This is patient zero of the foundation, so to speak. This is where we start. Now, a niche, or if you're using the American term, which some of you probably will be, a niche is a group of people, and that's it. It's a group of people. And a group of people become a niche when they can be grouped together by a statement or feeling of identity. The group or the niche shares the same current situation, desired situation, problems, goals, struggles, beliefs, routines, stories, lifestyles, etc. So people belong to niches based on a lot of different things. For example, they belong to a niche based on their work, their ideology, their diet, their culture, their religion, what they eat for breakfast in the morning, okay? We can segment and group humanity into, neat and tidy pockets based on the behaviors that they partake in, or the thoughts they have, or the belief systems that, that carry them through the world. Now, a single person can belong to multiple niches at the same time. For example, let's say that you are a consultant and you also happen to like classical music. Now, you belong to two niches. So obviously you belong to more than two, but if you're a consultant and you love classical music, then you are in the consulting niche, which means that, you know, you're part of this group of people that are called consultants online. And you're also in this niche of people that like classical music, okay? Now, most people belong to a ton of niches, but they will have a main niche that characterizes the majority of their identity or their life. And, you know, so for example, for me, the niche could be YouTuber, or it could be consultant, or it could be, you know, multi-millionaire as another example. That's a specific niche. Now, niches can be B2B. So B2B stands for business to business. And this basically means, like, what are we exchanging with? So you know how we discussed in elucidatory axioms that money is created when value is made. Money is made when value is created, okay? And so money, and this basically means niches can be, and you know, so for example, for me, the niche.
Sorry, I'm just winding it back because I was writing something down.
Niche could be
I didn't get
YouTube.
This bit here.
Or it could be consultant, or it could be, you know, multi-millionaire as another example. That's a specific niche. Now, niches can be B2B. So B2B stands for business to business. And this basically means, like, what are we exchanging with? So you know how we discussed in elucidatory axioms that money is created when value is made. Money is made when value is created, okay? And so making money is an exchange between, you know, you and the other person, and it's this exchange of value to money. And so, you know, a B2B niche is basically where, you know, you're selling to businesses, and this should say business here, okay? Or this should say consumer, and this should say consumer, okay? So niches can be B2B or B2C. So if it's B2B, then you're selling to businesses. If it's B2C, then you're selling to consumers. Now, all niches are really B2P because, you know, it's always business to person, because who runs a business, right? It's a person. So even if you're working in the B2B niche, let's say that your niche is, I don't know, let's say you work with dentists, right? Dental practices. Well, when it comes to you selling, you're still selling to the owner of the practice. So it's still kind of B2C, but it's not, because they're a human, they're like a business person, right? So we've got B2B, B2C, but it's always B2P. You're always selling to a person, and that's how that works. So if you're wondering what some examples of business niches are, then we can look at these two resources that you should have access to through this document that will be available in the resources section. I kind of took the liberty here of defining pretty much every single niche, at least B2B niche in the world. And there's like 4,000 of them. So, you know, you can have a look through here. But, you know, for example, like a breakfast restaurant, like every breakfast restaurant in the world is a niche, you know, or, you know, let's say a cardiologist, private cardiologists, you know, that's a B2B niche because it's a business offering a service. Or let's say a sushi restaurant, you know, there's a niche as well there, you know, or we could scroll again and find dog trainer. That's a niche. So all of these things that you can see here are niches. And some of them are kind of, you know, they're not, I took this from a resource. So some of them might not be very good niches, like an oil store, although that could be a good niche, I don't know. But you kind of get the point, you know, just basically businesses that can be aggregated together. And then we've also got this thing here from Yelp, which is basically a category list of like all of these different industries that Yelp kind of promotes, or in the world is a niche, you know, to be a weakness that you have that's very ligated together. And then we've also got this thing here from Yelp, which is basically a category list of like all of these different industries that Yelp kind of promotes or has available in their directory. And so, you know, if we take the pet industry, we could see that, let's just have a look here, you know, reptile shops could be a niche, okay? Now, in the personal niche space, I'm not recommending nor not recommending these niches. These are just some random examples that came to mind based on some of my friends that have consulting businesses that have told me about. So, you know, for example, like binge eaters. So, you know, women between the ages of 35 and 40 or 45, whatever, that have a binge eating habit, or young men that are addicted to porn, or husbands in failing marriages, or parents that have overachieving kids, or professional basketball players, or astronauts. Any group of people, any group identity that can be assigned to an aggregate of people is a niche, okay? And so with your consulting business, and we're going to talk more about this in the niche video, so for now I'm just bringing your awareness to these foundations, but in later videos when we talk about picking your niche, picking the problem that you're going to solve, etc., you can do B2B or B2C. Like you don't have to, you know, have an offer and solve a problem of just helping people make more money or helping businesses get more customers. Those offers work and they're very, you know, compelling and they can make you money. But I know a guy that helps, you know, a close friend of mine called Leon. Some of you maybe you know who he is. His name's Leon, and Leon had a big drinking problem when he was younger. And he managed to overcome this drinking problem and fix it and change his life. And now he makes lots of money teaching people how to overcome alcohol addiction and how to, you know, cure alcoholism. And he's very good at it. And, you know, he's built a very successful business and career off that. And so his niche is alcoholics. And, you know, he picked the problem to solve for them. And so that's an example of a B2C consulting business. Whereas me, for example, I'm B2B. So I help, you know, agency owners, coaches and consultants with high ticket client acquisition. And that's, you know, what I help them do. And that's B2B because I'm selling to businesses. So, you know, there are, I mean, tens of thousands of niches. Like in the business space, there's thousands of them. Personal niches, there's thousands of them. Like there's a lot. And, you know, I'm going to show you how to pick the one that is right for you and how to get in on that. So don't worry about that. So niches exist inside of industries. An industry is basically a segment of the entire economy. Okay? So when I talk about industries, I'm talking about the manufacturing industry, or the tourism industry, the food industry, the transportation industry, real estate, technology, education, professional services, agriculture, financial services, banking, media, fitness. These are like the big macro shell industries. And inside of an industry, you have lots of different niches. So for example, we've got professional services industry. Well, inside of the professional services industry, we might have the consulting niche, for example. Now, industries contain niches, and typically niches contain niches, and we would call these micro niches. So this is where it gets kind of interesting because like you can't niche down into an industry. So you can't say, oh, I work in the banking niche, because the banking industry is, I mean, it's gigantic. I don't know how many hundreds of billions or trillions of dollars, probably trillions in the world of the total economic machine are attributed to this bad boy. But you're not niched down into an industry. You niche down into a specific group of people inside of an industry. And inside of that group, you usually find other groups as well. So coming back to the alcohol example, you know, we could say that Leon works in the you could say it could be the professional services industry, or it could be the education industry where he's educating people to quit alcohol abuse. And, you know, he, inside of that industry, you know, he's brought it all the way down to alcoholics. And then he's brought it once again all the way specifically down to, you know, men who are alcoholics, and then all the way down again to men who have certain proclivities and stuff like that. And so the more specific you can get with a niche, typically the better. You know, you might have heard the phrase before that the riches are in the niches, to use an Americanism for you, okay? So for example, you know, restaurants are a niche, and inside of the restaurant niche, we have the micro niche of steakhouses. And another example could be, you know, we could take the automotive industry, okay, or the transport industry, probably the automotive industry, and we could say inside of the automotive industry, we have the car dealership niche. But inside of the car dealership...
So I'm assuming that, like, we're not just trying to pick a niche, we're trying to pick a micro niche, right?
Dealership niche.
I don't know, maybe. Or would we go for just one entire niche? Like a niche is already like a small group of people, you can make it smaller. But I don't know if you would do that, like... I don't know if you would do that when the business is already set up. Like, you know, you have a few clients, a few customers, and then you would go down one again and go like target like an even smaller group of people. Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's a dumb thing to say, but I don't know.
You have the Mercedes-Benz dealership niche because, you know, it's a specific micro part of it. And another example could be we've got the fitness industry, and a niche within the fitness industry could be gyms, and a micro niche within the gym niche could be CrossFit gyms specifically, or it could be yoga studios specifically, okay? Or it could be budget gyms, or it could be high ticket gyms. And these are the business examples. Now let's get into a personal example. So let's say that professional basketball players are your niche. Well, NBA league players are a micro niche because they're, you know, there's only a few of them. It's pretty specific. And let's say that binge eaters are the niche. Well, teenage male binge eaters with worried parents could be a micro niche. And then let's say that vegans are a niche. And then we could say, well, elderly male vegans are a micro niche. So maybe your niche that you choose to go for, and I'm not advocating for this, and I'm not saying that this is a good niche or a bad niche, I'm just giving you an example. Maybe you say, I help men over the age of 65 turn vegan, or I help men over the age of 65 turn carnivore or keto, or any diet, right? And so the point I'm making here is I don't want you to think that the examples I'm giving you are, I'm not advocating for them, I'm not recommending them, I'm not telling you that you should start an alcohol rehabilitation program. Like, I'm just giving you examples. So please don't think for a second that these niches are ones that I'm recommending, and please don't think for a second that I'm not recommending them. I'm just giving you examples to make it to solidify it. You need to pick your own niche. It needs to be your decision, and like I said, I will explain how to. So don't worry about picking a niche yet. You might have some rough idea as to, you know, where you want to take it, but I'm going to give you the most comprehensive and solid exercise in a later video to explain. So
I can take a guess where he's gonna go with this. I could be well off, but I mean, if I was him, like, I'd just say, like, Josh, what do you know the most about? No, because it's the easiest thing to get started with. Like, say you're already like a, I don't know, a straight A student, right, in sixth form. Like, it kind of makes sense to start like maybe a study tip course, guaranteed A in your next test sort of fucking thing, you know? Because it's something that you already have like somewhat of a leverage, like some knowledge in. It's like I'm a sprinter, I'm a track and field athlete, but I'm not gonna go tell like LeBron that he can't throw a basketball properly, because it's I'm not gonna start like coaching basketball players or create like a 6-week training program on how to win your next fucking, I don't know, I know nothing about basketball, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, yeah, I think you would just do it about what you know the most about. So I'm already thinking stuff in the fitness industry. I'd say I'm relatively lean. I'm not jacked, but like I'm better off than most, so give it a shot. But we'll see what happens.
This video is just here to introduce you to the idea of a niche, and we'll talk about it later, okay? So once we've picked a niche, once we've nailed the first foundation, and you know, the reason that I said earlier, like the foundations are the most important, is because the market you're in is kind of the biggest constraint and bottleneck to your entire business success.
Like the smaller the market, I mean, the less people you're obviously gonna have to sell to. And you know, from there you can either do two things, like increase your price, or I don't know, just increase your price, I guess, or go for a bigger market. But
for example,
you have more competitors then.
If you want to go into the student niche where you want to help students, then you're probably not going to make that much money, because, well, students, like, historically and famously are broke and don't have much money. And therefore, you know, if you base the foundation of your business on a market that has significant financial restriction, then your business is going to face significant financial restriction. So there is a lot of stuff that goes into picking.
Wait, now that actually makes sense. Like, you can't sell like a $2,000 like revision tactic resource thing to students because they, don't actually have that money. Like, yeah.
A niche, and we'll get into it later. So the second foundation is the problem. So the problem is basically, we explore this in elucidatory axioms, right? The problem is your opportunity to provide a solution, to provide critical information, to create value and alleviate pain. So we know that money is made when value is created, and we know that value is created when pain is alleviated, and we know that the only real way to alleviate pain is to solve a problem, which we do through the application of critical information. Now, if what I just said to you makes absolutely no sense, it's probably because you haven't watched elucidatory axioms, so please.
I'm getting it. Something's going into my brain now. I mean, what's that thing? I swear it's like you only remember 20% of what you learn. I'm remembering this, I've heard these words before.
Please make sure you have. So at this point, you should know that we need to have a problem to make money. We need to solve a problem to make money. Problems are unwelcome obstacles or situations that prevent a person from achieving a desired situation or outcome. And the great thing about problems is they are what we would call fractal. Okay? What that means is it's pattern based. And problems are shared by a niche. So niches share many problems, but there's always a few problems that, that basically are the most painful and that are shared by most niche members. So to give you some examples, if we once again use the binge eating niche, as I said, I'm not recommending this niche, nor am I not recommending it. It's just the first example that came to mind. Some problems that binge eaters have are going to be cravings, relapse, self-hate, body image issues, etc., etc. And so what we can do when we have a niche and we define a group of people is we can start to extrapolate the problem that one person in that niche has to every single person in that niche. Okay? So take yourself, for example, right now, and you're going through the Imperium Academy. You are in this sort of business opportunity, want to start a business online, make money online niche. Okay? And the problems that you have that are preventing you from getting what you want, you share with pretty much everybody else in this program. And that's just a truth. You're going to have similar belief systems. No, you're not going to be identical to everyone, but in the aggregate, if I took 100,000 of you, I could make some pretty damn solid, mathematically accurate predictions about what your day looks like, how you think, what you want, what you don't want, what you desire, and more importantly, what problems you have. And once you understand the big problems in the niche, and you understand that everybody in that niche has those big problems, now we've got a scalable business model because we can solve that en masse. So another example could be a restaurant. So if the restaurant niche, which is a B2B niche, one problem they might have, and I'm just guessing here, I don't actually know, one problem they might have is finding good chefs or low profit margins, or another one could be seasonal trade. So maybe your niche is, I help restaurants in hot countries or in holiday areas get more table bookings in the winter. Just an example, right? I don't know if that would work or not. I've never tried it. I've never seen it work. Just an example. Once again, I'm not recommending these, blah, 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 disclaimer. Okay, they're examples. Like, what I don't want to see is suddenly 1,000 consulting businesses spring up, suddenly helping restaurants find good chefs or summer restaurants getting, do you know what I mean? Please think for yourself. I don't even know if these problems exist. I'm just giving you examples. So do not base your entire financial future off of some random examples that came to mind when I was making this. I can't stress that enough. Please do not let this bias you into thinking that one of these is the right niche or the wrong niche to pick. So as per the niche selection, I'm going to help you find a painful problem in later videos. So don't sweat it for now. I just want you to be aware the next foundation above the niche is the problem, okay? And I'm going to show you how to find a problem. We're going to pick a niche, then we're going to do some research, find out what they struggle with, and that's that. So the third foundation is the solution. So the solution is basically a manifestation of the application of accurate and appropriate critical information to a problem. So a solution happens when we take a problem and we solve it, okay? And the way we solve it, as we know now, is by applying critical information to it. That's what a consultant does. Now, niches pay for solutions. Solutions feel pretty damn good because they alleviate pain. And we know that when we alleviate pain by providing a solution, that solution becomes associated with value. Because remember from the last video, value is nothing but an association between sentiment and solution. That's kind of really what it is. So for example, if we take the binge eating example, these are their problems, then maybe the solution we'll provide is training on how to manage your cravings. Or maybe you make a pill that you give to people who are binge eating, and it has the specific genetic biological code to make them not crave crisps. I don't know, right? You get the point. Another example could be restaurants. So, let's say that one of the problems they have is finding good chefs. Well, maybe you become a recruitment consultant and you do done for you chef finding. Or maybe you come up with a brand new restaurant strategy and a new dish to sell. Like a primary example of this problem thing, really good example. If any of you are familiar with Mr. Beast, which most of you will be, if you remember the Beast Burger during the COVID lockdowns, so what Mr. Beast's team did is they did this, this was damn brilliant. All of these restaurants were, closed, and they all had kitchens and facilities to, make food. And they had, there were key workers and staff, but no one was going to these restaurants. So what Mr. Beast's team did, and what Mr. Beast did, which was absolutely genius, was create this franchisable Mr. Beast Burger, where he went to all these restaurants, across America, and was like, hey, here's a burger to sell. I'm going to whack my name on it. Here's exactly how to make it. We'll provide all of the ingredients and everything you need, and you can sell it, and then you can deliver it to people. So we're doing food delivery here. So people can still get what they want from the restaurant, but it's branded and everyone knows what it is. And, it's really profitable because it's literally just meat and bread. So crack on. And Mr. Beast made a damn lot of money with the Beast Burger, because suddenly the niche of restaurants had this massive problem of, hang on, no one's coming because of COVID. And so he found a way to solve that problem. And obviously the restaurants paid him significantly for that. So the solution is what you bring to the table to solve the problem. It's an amalgamation of the critical information that you have sought, found, processed, and applied, basically. And solutions create results. So these are the first three foundations. You pick a group of people, you find the problem they have, and then you solve that problem. Now, once again, I'll walk you through how to do the whole solution thing in future videos. So the whole point of the solution is to create the result. And that is the fourth foundation of a consulting business, which is the result that you actually get someone. So a result is simply the synthesis or outcome that happens as a result of the application to the antithesis to the thesis. So in English, if you remember what that means from, If you remember what happens with this cause and effect model that we talked about in elucidatory axioms, really we've got a problem and a solution. So the niche has a problem and you have a solution. You apply the solution to the problem, we let some time elapse, and then we get the person the result, or the niche, the result they want. And the great thing about being in a niche and picking a specific group of people is this becomes very repeatable. And so your entire business just basically becomes about finding people that have the same problems and then just repeating that solution over and over again. And this is how we effectively print money. If you don't have a niche, you can't do this because every customer you sign is different and has different problems. And that's just a nightmare. Like, you know, if you're like a marketing agency, for example, and you serve anyone, well, the thing is you're never going to really provide a better result to a specific type of business compared to a specific niche-based marketing agency. Anyway, that's a story for another day. So yeah, this is how results happen, okay? Now, results are not binarily good or bad. And they work on a scale of weak to strong. And this can depend on how much time it took or how easy it was or how good the result was. So when you say, when I say to you, like this program's going to get you good results, like it's not really like, how do you define good? It's not really good or bad. It's how good or how bad, or how strong are the results or how weak are the results. And the quality of the results you get from this program are going to be determined by like how quickly you managed to get them, how easy it was, and really like how big the result was in the first place. Because if you go through another program and it takes you, 6 months to make $1,000, and then you go through this program and it takes you 6 months, but you make $100,000, well, both programs got you results. They both solve the problem of helping you make money online, but one was significantly better than the other. And that's why I'm putting so much effort into these videos, right? This video is a prime example of that. The last 2 videos have taken me like 2 weeks to make because I want you to get good results. And the only way I'm going to do that is by making sure it's as straightforward and easy as possible. So results work on a scale of contrast. Some consultant businesses get weak results, and some businesses in the consulting space get really good results. And whether a result is good or bad or not is only compared to the other results that you could get from the other options. So I know, for example, that this program is going to smash every other make money online program out there. And I know that my results are going to be good because they will be better and stronger than everybody else's programs. And everybody else's programs that cost tens of thousands of dollars. This thing, as you're well aware, does not cost that. And is probably 10 times better. So this is how you build good foundations. It's like the result is an absolutely imperative foundation. And so when you're building your products and your programs and you're making your services, they better be fucking good. Because if they're good, then you're having a stronger foundation. Okay? Now, the strength of the solution is determined by the strength of the result it basically generates after the application to the problem. So for example, you might consider this program a strong solution compared to other programs out there. If it gets you better results than the previous programs or mentorships you've tried, then it's better. And you'll base this assessment on your perception of the program as well. So, you might say Charlie's program's good, not only based on the results you get, but based on your perception of the results that you will get. So, my confidence and my effort is going to seep into your psychology, and you're going to say, oh, well, hopefully you'll say, maybe you hate this thing. I hope not. You're going to say, oh, this is a good program. And that's happening because I'm putting effort in, etc. So remember, solutions are only weak or strong when results are measured and compared to the results of another solution. So whether you've got a strong solution or not is basically dependent upon whether or not it brings about a strong result. Because I could whip up this course, I could whip up the Imperium Academy in, this could be the case for any product, right? I could whip this course up in 2 weeks flat. I could just cut a bunch of corners, and just whack it together, patch it up, and then just sell it to you, or give it to you, whatever, right? I could do that, and the thing is that would be doing an injustice because first of all, the result's not going to be as good because we're not being as thorough and we're not taking our time, and I'm not giving you everything you need, and what that means is the solution just sucks, which means that one of the core foundations of my business is weak, and so everything I try and build on top of it is just doomed to fail. It doesn't matter, like in the long term, over a good enough time horizon, it doesn't matter how good you are at sales. It doesn't matter how easy you find getting clients. It doesn't matter how great your mindset is. If the results you get for people suck, then everything's going to come crashing down. And a prime example of this is this program. Like I spent 2 weeks on 2 videos. Most people spend 2 weeks on their entire program. Like this is a 6-month build for me. I'm in for it, you know, and you're going to be able to see this as I progress through this thing. This is not an easy thing to do, making these programs. Now, I'm not saying that you need to spend 2 weeks on 2 videos at the beginning. That's not what I'm saying at all. The only reason I can do this is because I've been doing this for like 7-8 years now. Your first programs are going to be sort of quick and scrappy, and you're going to try and get the job done. You don't want to chase perfection at the beginning. But we're going to talk about that in week 3 when we talk about becoming an expert and building your product and stuff. So once again, keeping it high level, you get the point. So here's a concrete example of this, you know, of this sort of strong and weak results thing. So let's say that you are a recruiting consultant for high-end restaurants. And let's go back to this example saying that you help high-end restaurants, so restaurants with Michelin stars, that could be your niche, okay? And what you do is you help them find qualified chefs. And, you know, maybe there are 4 other recruiters or 4 other consultants that you're up against, and they're all trying to bring qualified candidates to the table, okay? So it's a race. So there's 5 businesses, you're one of them, they're all serving the same niche, trying to do the same thing. Now, the question is well, okay, well, Charlie, if I've got 4 competitors and me, and we all have the same niche, and we all solve the same problem and have the same solution, then how are we any different? How do I differentiate myself? Well, the answer is in the quality of the result. So let's say that all the chefs are qualified and can get the job done for the same salary. So all 5 recruiters, or all 5 consultants, they all provide candidates for this problem, you know, they all provide a solution for this problem, and all the solutions are qualified. So all of the chefs fit the bill, and they're all going to accept the same salary. However, the person who introduces Chef 1 might have 4 years of experience and a couple of regional culinary awards. So they've won some awards for cooking. But Chef 5, whilst being qualified and accepting the salary, Chef 5 might have 30 years of experience, 3 Michelin stars, and a massive culinary social media audience to boot. Like a massive food audience on Instagram to drive traffic to the restaurant. And this person, wherever they work, their audience goes to find them. Like, it's the same niche, right? High-end restaurants, and it's the same problem, finding qualified chefs, and it's the same business model, consulting. But if consulting business number 5 brings a chef that has 30 damn years of experience and 3 Michelin stars and an audience, and consulting business number 1 just brings some dude that's won a couple of awards and has 4 years of experience, who do you think is going to make more money? Who's adding more value? Like the person who gets the best result, right? It's really simple stuff. You have to gauge this. You have to understand your success, your financial success is about how good the results you get for people. Do not be fooled by anything else. Anything. It's all about this. You're up against a lot of people in the same niche solving the same problem. Your success, your financial success is about how good the results you get for people. Do not be fooled by anything else. Anything. It's all about this. You're up against a lot of people in the same niche solving the same problem with a similar looking solution, but not all solutions are created equally. Okay? One will be better than the other. And it's the one that's the best is the one that wins in the long term. And that's the only reason I have so many people in this damn program now. I mean, I'm making it now. There's no one in here yet. But I'm anticipating that when this thing's launched, it's going to go a little bit mental. And that's because it's going to get the best results. So the consulting business that brought Chef 5 to the table, and please excuse this terrible pun, has the strongest solution and therefore the strongest results and has added the most value. And this person will make the most money in the long term with enough time applied. You know, consultant 1 with Chef 1, who is kind of okay at getting chefs in, but they're not great. Like they might win in the short term if they're really good at selling and marketing, and they're really like great in front of a camera, and they're really good at like talking and stuff. Like yeah, they might beat consultant number 5 in the short term, but when time starts to elapse and people in this niche start talking to each other and the real results come out in the wash, it's going to be Chef 5 that wins. Okay. And this happened with me in my consulting business at the beginning. You know, when I started Imperium Acquisition and I was helping agency owners, coaches, consultants, like, you know, it took the market like 2 years for everyone to realize that Easy Grow was just the best thing. Like, you know, there were people that were better at marketing than me, and there were people that were better at sales than me. And, you know, there were people that were making tens of millions of dollars, you know, by making ridiculous claims and being good with Facebook ads. And I just spent all my time on I spent 12 months building Easy Grow. And I knew that if I just did that, given like another couple of years, like soon the market would realize and then everyone would flock to us. And that's literally exactly what's happened. And everyone that relied on fancy marketing, well, we've left them in the dirt. And a lot of them are now working as marketing managers for random companies. Like, we've destroyed them. And you destroy your competitors by providing better results. So, you know, here's an example here. So we've got a strong chef or a weak chef. Not physically, just in terms of their skills, right? But, you know, chef 1 could be a good chef. This could be 4 years of experience with some regional awards, really promising. But in comparison to chef 5, they're pretty damn shit. And so, you know, I want you to understand this, that results and solutions, they work on a scale of contrast positioned against other solutions that your competitors are providing. And so if you want to beat people, you have to be better than them. And to be better than them means to get better results. And to get better results means to be better at the damn thing. That you're positioned against other solutions that your competitors are providing. And so if you want to beat people, you have to be better than them. And to be better than them means to get better results. And to get better results means to be better at the damn thing that you're doing. And that will all be explained in week 3. So here's an example, obviously, of how different consulting businesses can solve the same problem and be in the same niche. But, you know, this is why I make, you know, $10, $20 million a year, and some of my competitors make $5,000 a month. You know, like the difference in these two results is obscene. Getting results is one thing, getting strong results is another. Once again, this comes back to critical information. It comes back to effort. It comes back to experience. You know, if I've got the critical information to make Imperium Academy, it's in my brain, right? Because I've done it. I could, like I said, I could build the academy, Imperium Academy, in 2 weeks and just scrap it together and not bother with the colors and making it aesthetically pleasing so you can do it better, not bothering with anything. Just here's some Google Docs and some slides. What a waste. So the 5th foundation and the final foundation is your offer. So your offer is basically how your solution and results are packaged and positioned. Okay? Your offer is basically what someone gets in exchange for money. Now, this is a pretty important thing to realize, and I'm just going to do this. Sorry, excuse me. I just want to make sure that this is formatted. For money. Now, this is a pretty important thing to realize, and I'm just going to do this. Sorry, excuse me. I just want to make sure that this is formatting. It's not formatting correctly, which is really going to frustrate me. But there's not much I can really do about it. Okay, we're just going to pretend that didn't happen. Okay, so the Foundation 5 offer. So, sorry about that. So your offer is essentially, like, you have your solution, you have the results. And, you know, if I go to, you know, if you go to someone and, like, if I went to someone and said, hey, I'm going to teach you the foundations of business, you probably wouldn't buy that. But if I went to you and said, hey, I'm going to teach you how to get to 10K a month, you'd probably buy that, because there's a strong difference between what we need. need and what we want. And I can tell you a story about this. I'm going to teach you the foundations of business. You probably wouldn't buy that. But if I went to you and said, hey, I'm going to teach you how to get to 10K a month, you'd probably buy that. Because there's a strong difference between what we need and what we want. And I can tell you a story about this. There's a kid who has a dog, and his dog gets sick. And he goes to the vet, and the vet says to the kid, the dog needs to take this pill. And the kid tries to get the dog to eat the pill. And the dog needs the pill, but it just won't eat it. It's like, the kid tries to put it in its food, dog leaves the pill. The kid tries to prise its mouth open, the dog spits the pill out. The kid tries everything to get the dog to eat the pill. The kid goes to his grandma. Grandma, I can't get this dog to eat this pill. Like, dogs...
I have some food to eat. Okay, so we're 37 minutes in. I have some food to eat. I'm gonna eat that now. I'll set a timer for 30 minutes. I mean, I might be done in like 15 or 20, but yeah. This isn't bullshit, by the way. I actually do have my food on my desk in front of me. So yeah. Alright. Yeah. I'm gonna eat my food and then I'll be back when I'm back, but yeah. Yo guys, I just finished eating. Okay. It is 8:02 now, and how long have we been streaming for? Been going for an hour and a half, so about 1 hour and 26 minutes. So like, we've actually been here for 45, but alright. I say we push it to like 9 o'clock now. We do another hour, and I mean we're only 37 minutes into the video. I feel like I yapped too much. We can get, so let's try get bang on halfway. Alright.
Gonna die. It needs the pill.
Same thing as what was I gonna say? I'm gonna mute myself because I have background noise at the moment, and I do not want to disturb you guys. So I'm gonna mute, and if I need to say something, I will. But yeah. Oh wait. Also, phone is going on the bed. Wait. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Let's go.
And grandma's like, well, have you tried wrapping it in ham? Kid's like, what? And she's like, wrap it in ham, give it to the dog. So kid goes back home. You know, he wraps this pill, takes this little white pill. It's got all this dog slobber and stuff on it at this point. It's not looking too pretty. He wraps it in ham from the fridge. Calls dog over, gives the dog the ham with the little pill inside of it. The dog goes ham on the ham. Dog eats the ham. Pill goes down, dog eats the pill. Kid's like, oh my God, it worked. Goes back to grandma. It worked, grandma. She's like, well, of course it worked. He's like, well, why did it work? Grandma says, sometimes you have to give people what they want to give them what they need. And that's exactly what you're doing with an offer. People don't buy what you do. They buy the outcome and result of you doing it. Okay? It's a very important lesson. You don't buy personal training. You buy an aesthetic physique. Okay? You don't buy a bottle of water. You buy hydration. You buy the outcome. And that's the simplest way I can explain offers to you. And this goes deeper, and I will explain it in way more detail when we get into the offer modules. But for now, this is all you have to understand. So offers are comprised of a few things.
That was actually a really good example from Charlie there. That's actually cleared some things up for me. I mean, I wrote that down, but yeah, something to remember, guys.
Identity call out, which is basically your niche. The outcome, the time frame, the price, and then risk reversal. And this is market dependent. So the identity call out is like, I help, binge eaters or dentists or alcoholics or whatever. Outcome, this is what you help them achieve. Time frame is the outcome in which you help them achieve it. The price is pretty self-explanatory. And then risk reversal is like, what happens if it doesn't work, and do they get their money back or a refund? So for the academy, I can give you an example for the academy that you're going through now, Imperium Academy. I help, people make money online in X amount of days. I mean, you probably know the offer because you clicked on the damn thing, right? So offers exist as statements made to your niche in long or short form copy. And this is going to depend on the marketing scenario. Once again, there's going to be more on offers in a later video, so don't worry too much about that. Just like solutions, offers work on a scale of strength and weakness. So here's an example, okay? So, we've got EasyGrow's offer versus other client acquisition program offers. So in EasyGrow, and this might change, but right now, as of me recording this, in EasyGrow, we guarantee a certain number of clients, and it's a pretty damn big number of clients. So we actually guarantee, like if someone joins EasyGrow, that they will sign clients. Like we say, like if you do not sign this amount of clients in this amount of time, then we will give you back your money. And that's called risk reversal, okay? So we have a guarantee. So that's our offer. And it's just a standalone offer. And it's only strong because if you compare it to our competitors, it's way better. So our second competitor, they guarantee like half the number of clients that we do. So our offer is twice as good. And then some of our other competitors are like, hey, I'll just help you make your money back. Well, it's not a very good offer, is it, compared to ours? So offers work on a scale of contrast. So this is basically the foundations that you need to have. These are the foundations. And so what we can do is, with these foundations, is we can create what we would call a hypothesis. And this is what a scientist would do, with a scientific experiment, for example, where you take the variables and you combine them together to see what happens. And so with these 5 foundations, we create what I call the consulting hypothesis. So these are the 5 things, and you have to get these right. Like I said, it doesn't matter how expensive your damn tennis racket is. If you don't even understand the rules of the game, if you don't have, like, if you can't walk, what's the point? You know, it's like you need to know how to build the foundations. And so the foundations are niche, problem, solution, result, and offer. So the niche is basically, you know, the group of people that you're helping. The problem is what you're helping them solve. The solution is the bundle of critical information that you're applying to the problem to solve it. The result is the manifestation of the solution, and the offer is the way you package the whole thing up to make this process make sense to this group of people. If you nail these, you will be successful. Doesn't matter how good your sales script is. Like, let's think about this. Niche. Let's say your niche is people who have cancer. The problem is obviously that they're going to die and they have cancer. Terrible, right? The solution could be, you know, a chemical compound that can be physically ingested that kills cancer. And the result of that is that the cancer is gone. And so your offer would be, swallow this pill once and you'll wake up tomorrow cancer-free. I mean, talk about some strong foundations, right? You know, the stronger that these things are, the more likely you are to be successful. And I cannot stress and overstate the importance of these 5 things. If you pick a really, and I'm going to show you how to we're going to get these. We're going to pick them. I'm going to show you how to do this and nail the foundations. What I need you to understand right now is that these things are worth getting right. Okay? I need you to really believe and buy into the idea that these things are worth spending a lot of time on, because we're going to spend a lot of damn time with them. Okay? If you nail the niche and you pick a great niche, you pick a painful problem, you figure out how to solve that, and you figure out how to do it really damn well, and you figure out how to position that solution and that result in a way that compels them to buy, then you'll be successful. This is all it is. N plus P, well, these should be plus signs really, shouldn't they? So let's add these in, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. You know, N plus P plus S plus R plus O equals S. And you know, if you're taking notes, you should write this thing down, because this equation is going to make you a millionaire. And I know it's going to make you a millionaire because, well, it made me one. And not just a millionaire, but a multi, you know, multi-8-figure millionaire. It's a pretty damn good place to be. So a hypothesis is a combination of variables and constants that, if combined, hypothesize a specific outcome. Basically, it's a theory. Okay? So when you pick a niche, a problem, a solution, a result, and an offer, you're creating a theory. And what you're going to do with your business is go out into the world and try and get customers, and you're going to test your theory. And I'm going to help you come up with a pretty damn good theory, so hopefully it will work. And it should work, I promise you. Now, you want to think of yourself as some sort of scientist. You know, when you're creating your business foundations in later videos, imagine you're a scientist coming up with a hypothesis that you're going to test in the market. And there'll be more on this in later resources. In this case, the outcome is success, okay? And I'm defining success as accomplishing your goal. So this just represents the accomplishment of your goal. So, before we continue, damn good niche, damn good problem, damn good solution, damn good result, and then a damn good offer. If you nail that, you get those things right, you're really going to be in for a pretty damn good life. I can tell you that, because it's exactly what I did. So what we can then do is we can use this consulting hypothesis and our newfound understanding of the foundations to boil consulting down to a simple equation. And that's basically CS plus CH plus P plus A plus K times C to the power of T equals DS. And you might be saying Charlie in English, please. So let me explain. So what we've got here is CS. So the first part of the consulting equation is your current situation. And that's where you are right now. Okay? The second part of the consulting equation is CH. And CH is your consulting hypothesis. Okay? Which is your foundations. So we're going to create this hypothesis in this week. The third part of the consulting equation is P. And that's your plan. And that's the checklist I've already given you in elucidatory axioms. It's your to-do list. It's your action items. It's basically doing this program, or the idea of the program. And then A, which is action, which is ticking the boxes and doing the work. And then this is where it gets interesting, because we're going to do a little power here, right? So it's plus K times C. So what's K and C? Well, K represents knowledge, which is basically having and finding and seeking the right critical information. And we times K by C, which is your character. Your character is an amalgamation of your mindset, your identity, your paradigm, your belief systems, your worldview, your traits, your skills, everything that is you, basically. Because if we take the right knowledge and we take the right person, then you're going to become successful. It's very simple, okay? T in this little equation represents time. And this is basically however long it takes. Like, you know, in order for you to do anything, you need to have time. That's kind of like, without that, like, you know, you need it, otherwise it doesn't work, right? So that's that. And then the last thing is the DS, which is your desired situation. So current situation, where you are right now, plus your consulting hypothesis, plus your plan, plus your action of that plan, plus your knowledge.
I'm gonna wind back just a little bit, just so I can write it down. I just thought I'd listen to it first, and then write it down after, because I knew this was going to be important.
And that's your plan. Of the current spot here, saying Charlie in English.
Yeah, I'm gonna write this down really quick. On a real note, I have a 60% keyboard. How the fuck do you do that little thing? Yes. Where is it? Oh my god, wait, no, I found it. Let's go.
please. So let me explain. So what we've got here is CS. So the first part of the consulting equation, the second process is A, your paradigm, your belief systems, your worldview, your traits, your skills, everything that is you, basically. Because if we take the right knowledge and we take the right person, then you're going to become successful. It's very simple, okay? T in this little equation represents time. And this is basically however long it takes. Like, you know, in order for you to do anything, you need to have time. That's kind of like, without that, like, you know, you need it, otherwise it doesn't work, right? So that's that. And then the last thing is the DS, which is your desired situation. So current situation, where you are right now, plus your consulting hypothesis, plus your plan, plus your action of that plan, plus your knowledge, plus your times by your character, to the power of time equals desired situation. These are the first principles that you need to have in tow to achieve what you want. So yeah, this is really all you need to become successful as a consultant, okay? So, you know, we're going to continue on through this video in a second, but it's very straightforward. You know, what you want. So yeah, this is really all you need to become successful as a consultant, okay? So, you know, we're going to continue on through this video in a second, but it's very straightforward. You know, you already have your current situation. You're going to have your consulting hypothesis by the end of week 1. You already have a roadmap. So I've given you the checklist of actions that you need to do, and the plan will unfold as we go through the content. And then the action. This is the only thing. This is the only thing that I cannot give you, that I wish, if there was some miraculous way that I could bend the laws of reality, you know, then I would. The only thing that I can't give you is action, which is doing the work and applying the causes. I'm going to tell you to do everything that you need to do. That's all I can do. I wish I could do it for you, but on a mass scale, I simply can't. So the action is up to you. I cannot control. Do the fucking work. Okay? If I tell you to do something, do it. Don't put it off. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't put it on a list unless I tell you to. Just do the work. Like, I'm telling you, if you listen to these videos properly and you do everything I tell you to do, and you know, you let time elapse, you do it consistently and properly, and you don't get results, I would be perplexed. I would be very, very surprised. Okay? And you'd be completely within your right to hop on school and, you know, like say like, well, why the hell isn't this thing working? But it should. So K, knowledge. This program will provide you with the knowledge you need. C, week 2 will help you get there. So character, the mindset module will help you do this. This is one of the most important things. So besides doing the work, if you don't get the mindset and the foundations right, you're screwed. And then DS, desired situation. So once again, you know, you should know what you want. If you don't, we'll cover this in week 2. So there is one little tidbit that we're missing from the above explanation. You know, there's one little thing, which is this little bad boy here, this little upwards hat looking thing. Now, I've snuck that in there. Some of you might have noticed I haven't talked about it yet. Well, the upwards little hat thing is an exponent. And this means to the power of. So an exponent is basically a power law. And what a power law is it's something that, you know, amplifies the growth or, you know, the trajectory of something. And I'm going to give you a full explanation as to how exponents work in a second here. They're very, very important to understand. Now, time is an exponent, meaning that it basically is a power or has power to create huge exponential effect. Now, what time will do is it will compound all of your efforts to create huge effects in the future. And we're going to talk about time in a lot of detail here because this really is the most misunderstood part of the equation. Okay, and this is where we're going to start to get a little bit abstract and, you know, hold on to your hats here because I'm going to blow your absolute mind again. Hopefully I did it last time. Okay. So yeah, time compounds stuff. And if you want to achieve your desired situation, the chances are you need a little bit of compounding to help you get there. And if you're wondering what compounding is, it's basically when something's growing or something's happening and nothing really happens at the beginning. Like it takes a long, long time for it to gain momentum. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, just whoosh, the thing goes crazy. Primary example that will help you understand is like rolling a snowball down a hill with snow on it. So you pick up some snow, you're atop of a big hill, pick up some snow. You compact it into your hands get all cold and painful, but you don't care because it's snowing and you're having fun. So you know, at least that's what we used to do in the UK, never snows in the UK. So you compact this little snowball into your hands. You put it at the top of the hill and you start rolling the snowball down the hill. And as the snowball rolls, it picks up snow. And in the beginning, like this snowball, it's not getting very big because there's a very small surface area. But over time, gradually, and then like it gets a little bit bigger, and then suddenly there's like a point of, literally in physics, it's called point of critical mass. And the snowball just gets massive really quickly. Like the surface area increases, which means that it picks up more snow, which means that the surface area increases, which means it picks up more snow. And then we have this thing called amplification occur, where it gets really big really quickly. But it takes a long time to get big enough to start getting big quickly. That's what an exponent does. And time is an absolutely beastly exponent. And I'm going to show you how to use it and become a millionaire. So, okay, strap yourself in for a bit of a...
I think that's where I'm going to leave it off for today. Just because we're getting into a completely another thing and I got to study a little bit more. But this is what we got through today. It wasn't a lot. I mean, I think something that could have helped us, you know, get through more today if I started earlier. So maybe, you know, tips. Wait, actually, let's make our tick boxing again. I feel like that worked. Where is it? So, make sure I do a morning stream. Don't leave things too late / how do you spell it? Procrastinate. Okay, just about. Because if I started earlier, I won't lie, I probably would have got further in, but I actually have to go now. Well, obviously I don't have to. It's not a legal obligation for me to stop streaming now, but to make sure I actually get sleep and able to study and do well on exams, I kind of have to. But I'm not using that as an excuse. I mean, I'm sure there's guys out there doing twice as much as me, and that will be me. I will be that guy. However, for tomorrow, so these are things that I need to tick off for. Make sure I do a morning stream. Go over notes. What else? Try power through 1.3. Yeah. But and don't worry, I haven't forgot about these ones either. Don't worry. But yeah. Actually, maybe like start tomorrow's stream by going back. Just so I get a very short recap of what we went over, just to like jog my brain a slight bit. But yeah, so this is wrapping it up for day 8, or the start of 1.3 six-figure fusion. And good night, everyone. I hope everyone's had a good weekend. I know it's Monday. Hope everyone's having a good Monday, or trying to. I mean, it's the start of the week, so yeah, let's really smash out the next 5 or 6 days, you know, because remember, we're trying to get, compared to week 1, I mean, we had a green, orange, orange, green, red, 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 red week. It's like a 3 out of 10. But however, week 2, hey, this is looking good, guys. This is looking a little bit better. And make sure I actually retain this stuff, you know. So I will be going over it at the start of next stream, or just in my own free time. But yeah, good night, everyone.